Hello my internet family and welcome back for another makeup and story time video. I'm filming this one from Florida because I'm after coming here for Playlist Live, which is a huge convention, and if you see me looking out the window a lot, it's because there's loads of other YouTubers over on their balconies and I just keep like, I'm a nosy bitch, what can I say? And also Disney World is right over there, and I'm a huge Disney fan and I've never ever been to Disneyland or Disney World in my life, so I'm so excited to see the fireworks and I'm going to get to go there on one of the days. So I'm going to vlog this trip anyway. I'm just going to get ready and show you guys how I'm doing my makeup for this whole event. Basically, I'm going to be wearing the same makeup every day pretty much. And for the story time element of this video, I'm going to be talking to you about social anxiety and some of my experiences with that and how it affects me even to this day. I have a huge handle over my anxiety now, but the social element can really sneak in sometimes and ruin my life. Right, so for my skincare, I basically just used the Body Shop chamomile, what's it called? It's their sumptuous cleansing butter, and I love this. This is new to me, and I love cleansing balms and butters, but it's just got a lovely scent and it takes all of your makeup off for if you want to use it at nighttime, but in the morning it just gives a nice moisturizing cleanse. And then I popped on some of my favorite serum, which is the Vichy Aqualia Thermal, which I've gone through about 20 bottles of. I have lots of new makeup to share with you guys actually, and some of this we got given for free last night when we checked in, because Tarte Cosmetics, I think, are one of the sponsors of Playlist Live, which is amazing. In the airport, I got the Naked Skin concealer from Urban Decay, which I've been wanting to try for such a long time because apparently this is a really high coverage concealer, but it doesn't cake, so you can use tons of this under your eyes. My only kind of issue with this is that it's just not as light as I would like it to be for an under eye highlight. This is the lightest one and maybe you can tell, but it's just not as white as my Collection 2000 concealer. But yes, I'm just gonna do little triangle-y things and blend that out. Over that, I'll be using my favorite foundation of all time, the Estee Lauder Double Wear, and I have a whole tutorial about how great this is for covering acne marks and stuff like that. So yeah, I only started having anxiety issues in my very late teens, early 20s, funnily enough. So it's not something I've struggled with my whole life. It kind of just came on later in my adult life. And what I was diagnosed with is called generalized anxiety disorder. So I used to just get really anxious and have panic attacks over everything. I would just always think that something bad was going to happen, and little things would just set my anxiety off and cause full-blown panic attacks, and that didn't last for too long. I went on medication for it, which didn't really help. I had a little routine that would help me calm down from a panic attack at the time. My dad would have to be in the room and I'd have to have a very specific Mozart song playing. I'd have to have my head sticking out the window for air. I needed lavender drops on my pillow, and he'd have to be just talking to me. There was just certain little things that I figured out how to calm down from an actual panic attack where I was feeling really dizzy and my breathing was all messed up. So yeah, just regular anxiety is something I have kind of a lot of experience with, but social anxiety, that came on really bad in college, and I first noticed it when I would get nervous going to the canteen to just sit with people from my class. And I think I can pinpoint the first time I got socially anxious. I think it was around the time when I had eating issues, I had an eating disorder, and I used to bring in my own lunch every day. So I would pre-pack my lunch and I would make it at home, so I knew exactly what was in it. I was very particular about ingredients and calories and all that stuff, and it kind of ruled my life at the time. And I hated this being brought to my attention or anyone talking about it and making a big deal out of it. I just wanted to be left to my own devices to just eat my food. And I remember some of the girls, and they did not mean to cause me any issues. They just kind of were constantly pointing out the fact that I was a fussy person with food and that I was kind of obsessed with my diet and stuff like that. And I feel they were doing it to make themselves feel better almost for eating the canteen food or something like that, because all of them would always talk about diets and weight loss and wanting to be healthier. And I just remember I developed this issue with going to the canteen and taking out my lunch. So it was the actual act of taking my lunchbox out of my bag would cause me to break out in a sweat and cause me to get that anxious knot in my chest just worrying and anticipating what they were going to say to me. And then that year I just started kind of becoming a bit reclusive, so I stopped going out so much. And you know, if I didn't know the exact plan of the day or of the evening, so if there wasn't specific plans for what we were going to be doing, say on a night out or something like that, I'd just get like really panicked. Look, I'm actually putting makeup under my fringe because in the last makeup and storytime video, my sister was given out to me for it. I'm just going to powder my face with the Healthy Balance powder from Bourjois. Lasts for like 10 hours. It's really good, this one. But yeah, so like I just kind of stopped enjoying social situations and nights out and stuff like that. And I was always someone who, even though I was a little bit quiet and stuff, I would always go out with my friends and things. And I just found myself making excuses to not like go to the bar with my friends, or like to not go on a night out or go to the cinema even. That was such a shame to me, to see anxiety holding me back from living my life. And especially like when, you know, when you're young and when you're in college, like you're never going to get that time back again. And I feel like I wasted a lot of my time just being afraid of situations where I'd have to talk to people or people would have to look at me. So my contour and highlight is going to be the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronson Duo. And for blush, I'm going to just like mix two, because I want like a base blush which is Impassioned by NARS, and this is like a really super pale cool pink, but then I'm going to put a touch of the Too Faced Candy one over the top. This is Candy Glow, and that's just more kind of shimmery and stuff. It's funny because I feel like I can't pinpoint times during school where I maybe did feel anxious, but I just didn't know what anxiety was. I think so because I used to be really paranoid sometimes about going into school and people looking at me because of my acne, for example. And I would wake up really, really early to do my foundation. And at the time, I didn't just wear makeup because I enjoyed the act and process of wearing makeup, which is how I feel about it now. But when I was younger, it was just purely to hide my face. And I used it as a mask at the time. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like I have a healthier relationship with it now, and I use it for different reasons. Just buffing that out because I don't want any harsh lines in my makeup. And yeah, so I feel like maybe there were times in my youth when I kind of had a touch of social anxiety issues, but even while I was doing YouTube and stuff, I recall being on my way to certain events with my ex-boyfriend Shane, who a lot of you might remember, and you know, he'd have to be calming me down because I'd just be freaking out about, you know, getting there and having to face people. It's funny because I always ended up quite enjoying the situations, but sometimes I would go places, like when I started going to conventions, for example. So Summer in the City is the main one in the UK, and then VidCon is the main one in LA, which is the biggest convention every year, and Buffer Festival is one in Canada that I went to. I really did have to have a sit-down conversation with myself to convince myself to go to these events. And even like this one, I almost pulled out of this because of everything that happened last week. You guys remember my sexual consent video about my ex and, you know, all the stuff he's been accused of. So I was really, really anxious and paranoid there for ages, and not wanting to have to talk to anyone or leave the house. I can see people vlogging on their balconies. This is so cool. I'm just going to line my lips with the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in Pillow Talk. This is like a really nice nudie kind of natural lip liner. I had some lip balm on, actually. This one, the Sugar Rose one. I don't know if that's the name of the brand, but I got this in LA, and it's kind of like a rosy lip tinty color. I love it. So hard to talk. I can't talk when I'm doing my lips. So I just overlined them a little bit, and then I'm going to use this. This is one of the things we got for free. This is Tarte Flush lip color thing. Let's see what it looks like. I don't even know what shade this is going to be. Ooh, intense. Bit of sort out them eyebrows, mate. I have the Anastasia Beverly Hills dip pomade thing, and one of the brushes from them as well for fluff on it. This is like super dark. I only like using this for like events and stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna like fill them in and shape them a bit. For me, a big part of social anxiety used to be tied up with fear of judgment and stuff, and like now I'm at a point where like I don't care what people think of me at all. So it's not that, but I still get that kind of feeling sometimes, like I just want to stay in my room curled up in a ball in my pajamas and not have to deal with any serious situations. And it's funny because a lot of the time it's like with people that I love hanging out with, and you know, it's really cool, exciting things like this, like it's a trip to Florida, like that's kind of, the cost is covered by my network, so it's not like I'm anxious or stressed about money or anything like that. I'm here because of my network, broadband TV, and you know, I'm surrounded by loads of my YouTube friends. There's tons of YouTubers here that you guys probably watch as well, and a lot of them deal with anxiety too. Like a lot of them, even that haven't spoken publicly really much about it, like a lot of us, like people who are drawn to YouTube as a career because you're talking to a camera on your own, I think a lot of us actually kind of struggle with that sometimes on and off, which is interesting. A lot of people in the entertainment industry actually like kind of have that issue. Like it's a common problem, and I think it's wonderful that more people are talking about it openly now, because it's getting rid of like the whole stigma and taboo of it, because you know, some people, it prevents them from wanting to go to school, it prevents them from wanting to go to family events, and you know, their parents might be getting like super angry at them if they don't understand, but it's important to understand that it really can affect your life in huge ways, and it's really sad when it prevents you from living and from talking to people and going to places. And it's, you know, it is okay if you're introverted and if you maybe you just don't enjoy public situations, but if you're like me and you do really like parties and things like that, and you just want to feel comfortable at them, and then the anxiety kind of tells you like, don't go. It's literally like a little person who's standing on your shoulder, talking in your ear, just convincing you of all the terrible things that might happen and all the things people might say or think about you, and it just is trying desperately to convince you not to go. That's what I feel like social anxiety is like. If I could draw it as a character, who would I draw social anxiety as a character? Leave a comment with some kind of fictional character that you think looks like social anxiety. I'm thinking along the lines of Gollum from Lord of the Rings. I just want to fluff my eyebrows out a little bit with the Benefit Cosmetics Gimme Brow, which I use every single day, and you're probably all sick of hearing me talk about it, but I've learned this new thing with it, right? So if you brush the eyebrow hairs kind of like all upwards, it just makes your eyebrows look really, really thick and like they're much bigger. The last girl who like waxed my eyebrows or shaped them or whatever, like it was a good while back now, a couple of months, she got rid of loads of the hair, and I was so pissed leaving. I was like, no, do you know how long that takes to grow? God damn it. Now on my eyes, I'm going to use one of the other things that we got given here, which is the Tarte palette, and like look at the shades in it. They're all really, really pretty neutrals, kind of rosy toned. I am obsessed with the look of this. I haven't even used it yet, but I noticed that there's no kind of pop shades. So I also have the Dolce Vita palette from Charlotte Tilbury, which is one of my go-tos because it has this gorgeous highlight one for like the brow bone, and it has a really strong gold shade that really stands out. So I might pop a little bit of that onto my eyelid as well. I'm just going to play around with this. I have a blending brush here, and crap, I didn't bring any other eyeshadow brushes, so my little finger will have to do. Then I might put a little bit of the Rimmel Exaggerate liner on the top, and I'll use my Tartiest mascara. That's a great name, I love it. I think I'm going to stick to the shadows along the top here. They're kind of more brownie-ish. But yeah, so many times I've almost talked myself out of attending really cool events, and I have definitely missed plenty of parties and social events because of anxiety, and I so often regret not going. However, sometimes not going to something is like the best decision I make. You really need to listen to your gut, and if something is going to put you in a very uncomfortable or awkward position, maybe just stay at home. It's okay to say no to things, and I think doing what makes you happy is really important. So for me, it's kind of a conflict because I know that going to events makes me happy. I know that making memories makes me happy, and filming vlogs of events makes me happy. So yeah, I'm trying to not let it hold me back so much, but sometimes I really do just want to sit in with my family and watch a movie and not have to go outside, and that's fine. Putting this highlight up along my brow bone here. I love just playing with my makeup and just figuring out what I want my face to look like on a daily basis. I think a huge part of the social anxiety is definitely kind of this fear of things happening that we've no control over, and of kind of maybe embarrassment or judgment and stuff. And it's so funny because when you're in a big room full of people at a party or something like that, everyone in that room has their own problems and is worrying about their own issues and problems at that moment in time. And we selfishly, like, how narcissistic is it to sit there and think that they're judging us or sitting there thinking about us? And you know what I mean? It's like, that's something, someone said that to me once, and it really did make me think and made me stop feeling weird when I walk down the street, without makeup on or whatever. I realized that I live in my head a lot. And I think a lot of us who have social anxiety issues, we remain inside our own heads. And it's funny because the anxiety I feel around social situations never really gives me panic attacks. Very rarely. Maybe I've had 2 when I've forced myself to go to something that I didn't want to go to. A very recent example would be I went to the Jungle Book gala screening here in Ireland, of the movie version, and I was just talking to a friend of mine who works in TV, and I broke out in a sweat. I was just really uncomfortable being there, and I think also the subject that I was talking about was that whole Toby situation, the rape allegations and stuff like that, and I got really, really, really panicky, and it was not nice at all. I can hear kids screaming outside the hotel for Evan Edinger, the YouTuber. He stayed with me at VidCon. I don't know whose room he's in. Maybe Dodie's, but like all the YouTubers are just out on their balconies now. It's so funny. Oh, I like this Tarteist mascara. It's cool. It's not very lengthening, but it definitely makes them like super black, and it makes it look like you're wearing a shit ton of mascara. But yeah, guys, leave me a comment down below with, a recent time when you felt anxious in a social situation. I jabbed myself in the eyeball! When I woke up, I was feeling a little bit anxious about a panel I have to do today here at Playlist. But like, I'm trained as a teacher, so speaking in public isn't that hard for me anymore. And I think YouTube has definitely helped me with my anxiety. Funnily enough, like, I've become a much less anxious person since I've started doing videos. Now, finally, that eye makeup is all dry, I'm going to get some of that gold shade and like pop that on, like all in the middle area. I always find it funny that my makeup videos do so well, because like, I'm not a makeup artist, but I do think that's why some people actually like watching them. Maybe it's a bit more attainable than the makeup artists of YouTube. I don't know. I'm gonna go get dressed now, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in my next one.